Hey there, it's Paige here from the impactcopywriter.com. In today's copy review, we're going to focus on how to optimize a Facebook ad for an online workshop. Now, before we hop in, remember, copy can always be optimized to be stronger so that you can improve performance for whatever you're measuring. And in the case of Facebook ads, we're looking at improving click-throughs, and in that journey, also improving conversions. So the first thing we do when we optimize copy is we look at the brief. In conversion copywriting, a lot of times we call this the rule of one. I like to call it the copywriting brief because it's what we measure everything against. Now, keep in mind, this is an in the wild ad that I have grabbed from my own Facebook timeline. So I have very little knowledge of the background of the ad strategy and who the ideal reader is. So I'm having to make some assumptions. But we can still look at some of the things we can see on Facebook. We can look at the ad copy as it stands, and we can make some assumptions about who this ad seems to be for. So let's start with the one reader. Now, the reader seems to be a business owner. We're talking about bringing in revenue, about selling digital products. So we can reasonably assume that this is a business owner. And if we pull up the why am I seeing this ad option on Facebook, we can see that they have targeted me specifically because I've either watched a video from their Facebook page, because I've interacted with their Facebook page, and because they're trying to reach people ages 18 and older. So this is really a remarketing ad. So I've likely seen something from this company before. And so that doesn't really give us a lot of insight into what kind of interests they were targeting on the cold end, right? So in order to get in front of me the first time, before I had interacted with their website or with their Facebook page or any of that stuff, they would have had to have found me likely through interest targeting. So unfortunately, we can't see that because this is a remarketing ad. Now, if we look at the Facebook ad copy, we can also assume that these business owners either want to launch a digital product, or maybe they've tried to launch digital products and they haven't been successful. So that is something we can reasonably assume as well. Now, the offer for this ad, so this is leading directly to a sales page, and the offer for this ad is a $47 workshop that shows you how to develop profitable digital products. Now, the big idea or the big theme for this ad is around the idea of making more money. So make more money with scalable digital products. And the promise for this ad is that they can actually do this workshop and get the digital product launched in only a few days. So it only takes a few days to implement. And that is something we grab directly from the ad itself. Now, remember, when we're looking at Facebook ads, the role of copy and optimization is not usually the first thing we look at. So the first thing we look at is audience, because it doesn't matter how good your copy is. If you're not targeting the right audience, it's just not going to resonate. So audience is number one, and then creative is number two. So, if you're testing like static images versus video, or if you're testing different types of images against each other. And then underneath the creative then becomes when we start looking at the copy. And the order of importance for copy is the headline first, and then the description or the body text. So just remember that this is the order of importance when we're looking at optimizing our Facebook ads. All right, now let's look at this ad and let's optimize it. Now we're going to skip over the audience and creative because this is a copy review, and we're going to start first with the headline. So in this ad, the first thing I noticed that was intriguing was that there was no headline. And so we had body text, we had an image, and then that was it. So this looks kind of like a boosted post. And this could be a strategy that they're testing to see if, the more native post type looking ad performs better than something that looks more like an ad that has the button in the headline and all that. So, I don't know if this is part of an intentional test, but it did grab my attention. And that's because when we're looking, through ads on our timeline, the first thing we notice is the creative. The second thing we notice is the headline. So we're completely missing like prime real estate for this ad. So the first thing I would consider testing is a value proposition focused headline. So what is the value, the core value proposition of the thing that they're offering here, of this workshop? So we could use something like launch your first profitable digital product in 5 days. So that is something we can reasonably write based on the description text in this ad. So the things I love about this headline is that it's action focused. We're starting with launch. It is personalized. So we're using your. It connects to the, most desirable outcome that this audience wants. They they don't just want to launch a digital product, they want it to be profitable. So that ties back to our big idea, which is make more money. I've also added first in here, launch your first profitable digital product, because based on the ad copy in the description part of the ad, we can reasonably assume that either this audience hasn't launched a digital product before, or they have launched digital products, but they haven't been successful with that, and they haven't been profitable, and they haven't sold a lot of those things. And we can also reasonably assume that if people have launched products and they were profitable, then this offer isn't going to be that appealing to them because they don't have that pain point. They don't need that solution. And I've also added in 5 days to the end of it to be very specific and to connect to that promise that we see in the ad that they can implement this system in just a few days. Now, I've just assumed that it takes 5 days, and we would want to, pull that from how the course or how the workshop is set up so that it is correct and we're setting the right expectations. But the point here is to be specific. The second observation I had was in the creative. Now, usually in a copy review, we don't focus on the creative because it's not so copy focused. But in this instance, the creative is very focused on some copy, even though it's a screenshot. So you can see here we have a testimonial from what we assume is a workshop participant who was happy with the workshop so far. And this looks like it was a conversation maybe on Instagram or maybe Messenger or some kind of chat software. So we can see here that they're happy with the offer and the way that this course creator or this trainer breaks it down, and they've got 10 offers in their heads. They have ideas already that they just know will be crazy successful. And they're, kind of future pacing, like, can I just make 6 figures a year with these types of products? Thank you very much, So we have a happy testimonial, but the problem is the big idea for the ad is about making more money, right? So you can see here, you can launch low ticket, high value, endlessly scalable digital products that give your audience exactly what they want in a bite-sized format. You can use this formula that I teach, and the formula that this creator teaches made her profitable in her online business from day one. So we're talking about making money. But the problem with this testimonial is that it doesn't align strongly with the big idea of the ad. It's not talking about making money. This person has ideas that they feel like will make money, but they haven't yet made any money. So my recommendation would be to swap out the testimonial they're using in their current creative with one that proves that students have actually made money using this workshop. All right, now let's look at the description or the body copy for the ad. Now, before we get into things I would change, first I want to highlight things that I love that this ad is using. So take our first little green arrow here. We're talking about, a problem that people have had with workshops, other workshops. So if you've been burned by other bigger courses that promise you the magical pathway to irresistible offers but come up short, that is talking about a problem people have with taking workshops, with big bloated courses that promise you, make a lot of promises but don't deliver. And that's also, that pain point is also a little bit of positioning, right? So how are they different than those other bigger courses that promise you that magical pathway? I like that they're using a lot of proof in this ad. We have copy like 1,142 businesses that are using this workshop right now or have been through the workshop. It's been tested tirelessly by the creator for the last 4 years. So that's also proof. We have some proof that the creator was profitable using this formula in their online business from day one. That's super powerful proof. I also like that the author of this ad or the creator of the system has, told the audience that this is the first chapter in a playbook of a multi-million-dollar online course creator. That's a huge amount of proof, not only for the formula or for the system, but also for the person teaching it. And then I like that towards the end of the ad, they're using some future pacing that is attached to, so imagine, right? That's future pacing. That's imagining that better tomorrow. And those imagine statements are attached to things that people want and things that they don't want. So imagine filling your list with buyers instead of freebie finders. So we also have imagine a digital product or mini course that sells like hotcakes to an icy cold audience, something that in this market people find is really, really hard to do. And then the third imagine statement, imagine not needing the stress of a live launch to make it happen because you've created something that sells itself. So if you spend any time in the launch space, you will know that it is stressful and people do not want to launch. So, we're touching on those emotions as well, talking about stress and that you don't need to live launch to make this work. All right, now let's get into what I would consider changing in the description to optimize the ad so that it's stronger. Okay, number one is the first sentence. These are my very favorite testimonials, and this is just after watching the day one video. It's a 5-day workshop. So to me, this should be your hook into the description, and it reads a little bit like fluff. Would the person reading this ad care that these are your favorite testimonials? I would wonder, would this ad read stronger if we just cut the first 2 lines and jump straight to the meat? Or even we could replace the first little paragraph there, the first 2 lines, with a testimonial snippet. So instead of saying these are my favorite, very favorite testimonials, could we just put a snippet of, the make more money testimonial in the lead with that. Okay, number 2 is in our third paragraph where it reads, it's $47. Y'all, not $1,500. So at this point in the ad, it's really too early to start talking about the price. We haven't even really gotten into what the workshop is and what it's going to do. The workshop is just a container, and no one's going to buy a container for $47 without understanding what's inside the container, right? So, to me, this reads way too early to start talking about money, to start talking about the price before we even get into what the workshop is. Number 3 is down, a few paragraphs down, we start, but okay, you're thinking, what even is a so-and-so product? And then we get into what it is, low ticket, high value, endlessly scalable digital products. And so at this point in the ad, it related to the last point where we're already introducing the price and asking them to take a gamble on the tiny angel baby workshop. There's a bit of disconnect here in the flow of the ad. So we're talking about money, workshop, take a gamble on this workshop, but we don't know what it is. And then we have to, go back and explain what it is and why you want it and what it's going to help teach you how to do and how that's going to benefit your business. So the value really here is buried, and it's a little bit out of order if we think in the terms of stages of awareness. So, we're jumping deep into product aware, which is when we usually talk about price before even getting into like the solution and then introducing the product, right? So it reads a bit out of order. This is where I would reconsider restructuring some of at least the beginning of the ad for sure. I'm using a proven persuasion framework like PAS Plus, even just using logic, right? So what do they know now? What do they need to know next? What do they need to know next, right? And so that you don't lose people. So I would restructure this ad, using a proven persuasion framework. Number 4, so if we hop on down to our last arrow on this screen, we see, but it'll only take you a few days to implement. So that's what we have decided was our promise in our copy brief. And so, this is a small thing, but in conversion copywriting, we always want to be as specific as necessary. So a few days, okay, what does that mean? Like how much is it set up, inside the course? Am I going to be able to do it in 3 days reasonably? 5 days, 7 days? So what is a few days? So I would encourage in the copy to be more specific as you can whenever possible. All right, number 5, and our only arrow on this page is with our imagine statement, so our future pacing. So these, this is relatively a long ad, and things start to get monotonous, right? So there's so little you can do in Facebook in terms of formatting, because you can't bold and you can't do all this things that we can do on sales pages and landing pages and even in documents. So one way to, create interest is to use short sentences, to use really short paragraphs, even 1-line paragraphs that you see they're using here, to use emojis. That is a way to help format so that you're helping the eye find the parts of the ad that are most relevant or most persuasive. And so, these imagine statements could be really powerful because we're starting to help them see the possibilities, of life after going through this workshop. But right now they just, they're at the bottom. Maybe we've been reading, scanning. They don't really stand out. So I would consider, to improve readability and to make sure people see this part of the ad, is that we add bullets. And now we can't add bullets in Facebook ads. So one way to do that is to do like emojis. So you can use things like the little check mark to act as a bullet, or you can use the little pointer finger or some other emoji to act as the bullet. So adding bullets here just improves readability, and it helps increase the chance that the eye, when we're scanning, is drawn to the most important parts of the ad inside the description text. All right, that brings us to the end of the copy review for this online workshop Facebook ad. I hope you got some really great insights that you can use to write stronger Facebook ads for your business. Happy optimizing!